All right. Welcome to FaBled Hunters.
I'm Fluke.
I'm Saint.
And we're gonna chat.
Yes, we're gonna talk about some stuff. It is almost
Yeah.
midnight where you're at, right?
It is no, not quite. It's nearly 10 p.m.
So we are 8 hours apart?
Yes, you're behind. I'm in the future.
Okay. So
Worth knowing because when I do my Everfest box opening, I'll be one of the first in the world because of the time difference.
Okay.
Yes.
You're Everfest. Oh, all right.
Yeah,
You know what? I'm not gonna take it personal. I'm not gonna phone it in. I'm gonna pre-record it and try to have a little bit of production value and thought process.
What did you get though? Did you get the preview card?
Did I?
Or you got a box?
I think I got a box to open on the same day that you and Sire's are opening.
Dude, then we need to collab and do one stream because that would be legit. Like, we should all stream somehow. If you're doing it pre-production, that's fine. But
Okay.
if Sire is streaming and I'm streaming, we should do it continuously and have all the viewers in the same place. It'd be so sick.
How would we do that? I'm not really good with
It's easy.
technology,
If I'm
so
doing it first, at the end of my stream, I send everyone to Chris Sire's stream. If I have 50 people watching, he gets 50 people watching because it's a lot of the same people. There's
okay.
no point competing on the box opening. It's like 100%.
Hey, everybody's gonna watch everything eventually,
Yes.
right?
But if we're doing it live, we might as well give the other person half an hour to finish, is what I'm saying. It's not, it's one box. It'll be
Absolutely. Just
Like,
like
I was tempted to pre-record for sure, but in Australia it's 4 p.m. I'm at the Farewell to Welcome the Wraith event
okay.
at 12 in a store with 16 players. Told to me, people you've seen, some of the best players in Australia will be there. So
Okay.
we finished the Welcome the Wraith event. I'm going to open like 10 crew boxes in a row, and then we're going to open the Everfest box.
Awesome.
If it's 4 p.m.
Awesome.
Yeah. Might as well let people experience it rather than, do it selfishly at home. I've
Yeah.
got like 50 cases coming. There'll be a lot more opening Everfest after that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Wait, you
That's
said
cool to
50
know you got
cases?
one. If I get my way, it'll be more.
Okay.
Also, like, I'm aware, like, this is legit. It sounds like, oh, look at me, I'm a good person. But I genuinely don't want to buy all of the stores out. And then the preview season comes, and Chris Sires gave me permission to talk about it. Like, Chris Sires got an email from James White saying there's 30 freaking cold foils in that set.
Yep.
30. People, once they see the preview cards and what they're crafting it, I think we still have a chance of the pre-order selling out.
Okay.
I don't want to be the guy sitting on 100 cases and people can't get it either. That's not the intention. 50 cases is plenty.
I mean,
But
given
I'm
our
biding my
experience, Fluke,
I'm biding my
given our experience, even Monarch, right? Like,
Yeah.
even 100 cases of Monarch wasn't a drop in the bucket. I'm not saying they overprinted it, right?
Yeah, we're assuming they're printing as much as they did Monarch, but this isn't a draft set, so there's no tournament printing. There's
Okay.
no shock draft event printing.
Sure.
Right? There's no sealed printing.
Okay.
It should technically be smaller than ARIA, if that's the case. Crew was a small print run. They nearly didn't do unlimited.
Well,
So-
Crew is still 2.5 times the OG 2 sets, right?
Yeah, but that's still probably quite small compared to Monarch. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm speculating as we do. I know stores that are sold out, and I know others that have. A lot of people seem to not be pre-ordering a lot, like, as an investment. They're just ordering, like, themselves a case to open. That's it. Like, I haven't heard of many people buying speculative investment type buying. I haven't heard of much.
Okay. And that's wonderful. Like, Magic the Gathering, when they come out with a set, it's usually in print for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And the stuff's sitting around. And
Yeah.
you know what? I mean, how long has Monarch been out? Monarch was like May 1st, right? So Monarch's out,
Yeah.
8 months? And people are like, oh my God, the world's over. There's still a Monarch sitting on the shelves.
Look,
right? Like,
yeah.
come on, guys. Have a little bit of decorum. Like, act like you've been here before and don't overreact every single little microaggression, right?
We should all agree on this to stop even acknowledging those comments, because it's really very few people, and most of them don't have a clue, including the content creators that speak like that. But they don't have a clue. Like, it's not an investment. 8 months is a short-term investment. So don't even call it an investment. It's like a trade.
Yeah.
It's short-term. Everything 8 months is short-term.
It is. I agree.
And by the way, like, I'm in my 30s. Like, I'm still young. Like, I'm still in a rush. Still, I know, like, in the next 30 years, I'll slow down even more. But I know 8 months is a short time. Like,
Yep.
it goes in a blink.
By definition.
2 years, man, and it feels like yesterday. Like it's gone. Like the last 2 years have zapped by.
Yep.
Like 8 months. 8 months also, it's been during COVID, which ruins everything, as you know.
Yeah.
You can't even say the word on YouTube. We'll get it doesn't matter.
Oh, really? Well, I heard you just had it, right? We got it like days apart,
Yeah.
right?
We did. Like pretty much the same day or a day apart, yeah. It was very mild. I felt tired.
Mm-hmm.
My muscles hurt, and that was it. I never had a runny nose, nothing. Like way more tired than I would normally feel.
Okay. Just curious, did you get 2 jabs or 3 jabs?
I had 2, but we were after you guys. Like my last jab would have been September.
Okay.
I wasn't even due for a booster.
Okay.
At the time. Yeah.
I had 2. Maybe I'm older. I've had some like issues, but it didn't feel lethal. I didn't feel like I was in danger, but it slowed me down.
Flu. Yeah. It felt like a bad flu. Like it definitely felt like my immune system was shit.
Yes.
I felt like ugh.
Yeah.
And all I did was sleep like 12 hours.
12, 15 hours. Yeah, me too. But like my brain was slowed down significantly more than the flu. Yeah, exactly. And
work like a full day when you wake up feeling like how you usually feel at the end.
At the end of the day, we had the same thing,
Yeah.
and
but you know what part of it is, I think too.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very much a go-getter. Like even if I feel shit, I'll get up, have a shower, and go walk and get a coffee and freshen up. Like because I knew I was stuck at home, I think that didn't help the fatigue.
Oh, of course.
I got up with no plans because you have to stay home. Like if I had the flu, I would have left home and gone for a walk anyway.
Okay.
But you have COVID, so you're stuck in prison, and I think you get prison brain. You know, your brain is like, oh no, you're not seeing anybody today. And you're not even going to go get yourself a coffee. Like, you're only staying home if you need, like, it's prison. It felt like prison. And I think that's what prison brain would feel like.
A little bit.
Because you're like, yeah. Like,
yeah.
mentally,
Another day. This
no
is my reality.
For the day, you have no reason to live. Like, you have no reason to pipe up your energy level or your intensity level. Nothing's going to happen.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
A lot of FaB. That's all I did.
You were at home, though, right? You were at home?
Yeah.
Okay. I got it the day after I traveled for my daughter's first time at Disney World.
That's right, I remember.
Yeah.
This is why we didn't have this chat earlier, because you were going to Disney.
Exactly. And it was it went from a Disney vacation to a COVID vacation, and
Right.
Dad's the evil monster that screwed up Christmas and New Year's because
How old's your daughter?
4.5. Well, 4 and
Wow.
10 months. Good age to take her. Good age to experience it.
Yeah, she'll remember.
Yep.
She'll remember the COVID bit more, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, we missed the first 5 days, but we got to get her into Animal Kingdom one day and Epcot Center another day. With Epcot, she really liked. She liked the educational portion of it, and it was great.
I feel like Dad is gonna make up for that trip.
Absolutely, you're not wrong. I'm in daddy debt right now, and there are many theories about what Daddy should do from other parents, other judgmental moms. Like, oh, you should do this. You're gonna owe her until she's 18, or if you don't make it up to her, she's gonna throw you in some horrible nursing home and just disown you after you become senile. And I'm like, okay, I'll make it right. I'll make it right.
So let's talk about the auction. Let's knock it out now.
Sure.
So you were probably the first, if not one of the first people I told I would be doing it.
Yeah.
For selfish reasons, because you can afford it. So I pretty much tried to tell everybody that might bid on one,
okay,
hey, this is coming up. Because as a salesman, I was like, in case you might buy a heart, wait for my heart to go to auction. That was the intent. But you kind of know the thing, but for viewers that maybe watch you, don't watch me or whatever, I'm going to auction the 9.5 Beckett graded heart. It's a 9.5B because it's got 1 9.
Basic, yep.
And the rest is,
in the corners, right? As usual.
Yeah. Which, funnily enough, we might as well say this too, there was an identical one graded that sold on eBay recently with 6 bidders and 12 bids.
Okay.
It came to auction a day or two after I announced mine, and the auction since ended.
Okay.
But anyway, the auction's happening on the 21st of January to the 23rd at the Australian Nationals for Flesh and Blood, the championship. It's actually the same weekend as the New Zealand National, so there's going to be a lot of meta conversations happening in FaB, because they're two of the earliest adopters of FaB. Is like, we have a lot of players that started playing day one alpha in both camps. Yeah, I want to find out what happens when you put the alpha Black Lotus of Flesh and Blood for auction publicly, because I still don't believe that's happened yet. The auction on eBay, I didn't know about, and when I knew about it, I realized I couldn't bid on it because my account had 30. Like, I hadn't done anything in the last 12 months on my eBay account, so I wasn't eligible to click the button anyway.
I'd like to talk about this in depth, and maybe we'll talk about your first data point. I think it ended, the one you're talking about, the alternative auction, ended at $16,100, just US dollars, a couple days ago. And that is not, I'll repeat, that is not a valid data point. eBay almost self-sabotages their own auctions because of how stringent their electronic safeguards are, how stringent their software is, and this is not the first time. Let me just give you some examples that go back.
Can I give you one first?
Sure, please go ahead.
I didn't realize till you told me. I remember there was the charity auction for the cold foil sheet that was uncut.
For $26,000.
I tried bidding on it.
Yeah.
What did that go for?
26,800 or something like that.
I tried to bid 18,000. And it didn't let me. It said you have to be pre-approved. So I clicked all the buttons, and it obviously sends a message to them. And they said, you're approved now. Within like an hour, they were very responsive, the people running the auction. Went and clicked 18,000 again. It had the same error. As a buyer, I didn't bid. And I also was like, fuck that. Like I'll tell you why. I was going to bid 18. I clicked the buttons, but like, I wasn't so 100% certain I should. So when the universe told me no twice, I just walked away.
Oh, you saw it as a sign?
Not like I'm not superstitious or anything, but like it felt like there's a lot of resistance for them to take my money. And it's already like a very, very speculative buy.
Fluke, that is really coincidental, because that's one of my experiences as well. And I got blocked out of one of the other items. One of the four, what is it? The Slingshot Underground, 4 pieces.
Yes.
There's Matchfire auctions. Right. I'm very, very familiar with it. My colleagues, Ada's employees, Ada's team, I think helped cover some content in the U.S. to promote it, new media, and I remember what the pieces were. I was like, oh man, James, this is so awesome. I want to be, I want to contribute. Yeah. And I bid like 24,000 for the sheets, something like 15,000 for the Slingshot Undergrounds, and I won the second E-Strike. Well, I have an E-Strike mat from Mr. Creator himself, and I won one just because I wanted one to, I don't want to play on the James mat. I want to keep it, and I want another one.
Privately about those mats now, because I want one.
Oh yeah? Okay. But what happened was the five-figure bid didn't go in, and literally on my Auction Sniper and on my eBay app, it was like, rejected. You are not eligible to bid. And I'm like, wait a minute, eBay. I'm using my wife's account. That's what she does for, as a housewife. That's her job. That's her career. And she sells every single day, and we've purchased many, many 5-figure items on eBay, and it just rejected us because there were instant safeguards. Now, this is not the first time. Just like I'll tell you about your auction, I bid 17.
Well, not mine, the one before.
Oh, sorry, the one the days ago that just ended. I had bid $17,900, and I had my Auction Sniper locked and loaded in the last 3 seconds to go in there with a snipe. Just send a little missile, because That's how I roll, and that's how eBay's been working for the past 5 years.
Which is worth noting is higher than what it sold for.
Absolutely. It would have been higher. I would have exposed the guy's bid, or maybe he would have bid 18,000 or more because I was at 17.9. That was the only way he was going to win, right? Except eBay got it in their own way. And I've got 3 more examples, I think. Matchfire, those auctions, that was one example.
Yeah.
I think my 24,000 got blocked, but somebody came in at like 26,800 for that sheet. That cold foil sheet, Pop 6, was amazing. Like, you know what I'm talking about. You were looking at it.
Like I was never gonna go that high, but I was willing to spend a significant amount of money.
Absolutely. No, it was a great sheet. And somebody, I believe somebody in Asia, Singapore, actually won it. And the other, the 4 Slingshot Underground iron rot pieces, non-foil, they went for, I think, 21 age or 22,000. I mean, it's been a couple months, but it started with a 2, and it was a 5-figure transaction. And my sheet bid definitely got rejected. My heart bid got rejected. I think I even sent you the image via Messenger, right?
Yeah.
Like you saw the 17.9, and I'm like, this is eBay getting in its own way. And this started as early as 2021. I think it was May or June. There was a very prominent lot right before the FaB drop, right before the whole big drop in all of trading card games and all of collectibles in May, June. Are right early in the drop. There was a lot with like a cold foil heart and scab skins and tunic. Basically, 6 cold foils, the heart and the 5 legendaries. There's a second lot that was an eye and the 5 legendaries, right? And I think the heart lot went for like $36,000, and I'll tell you, I won it. But there was a guy complaining that he had put in a bid and he bid more. He's like, "Oh, my bid was 60. Look, here's the image. What schmuck, won for 30?" I'm like, "Hey, I won it, but I didn't. My max was not 36.
You should have sold it to him for 60 the next day.
Well, I mean, I haven't sold anything in FaB, and that's just between us. That's just not me. I think it's too early. I think about the life cycle of I mean,
you're not trying to make any money now.
No, I'm trying to spend as much to get as much cool stuff as possible, to farm the best grades, and to get nice stuff.
That's one thing I say on my channel, and again, you might have some people that don't know. My channel is the most expensive FaB channel in the world.
Really?
I throw money away.
Okay.
If I was, I opened so many alpha boxes for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a Patreon. What I'm trying to say is, if my intention was to make money, I would not auction the heart. I would hang up the call and speak to you privately and people that you know privately, people that I know privately, and I would sell the heart.
I was willing to pay 18. I was willing to pay 18 for the last one that just ended 48 hours ago.
What I paid for my heart, the 9.5, you know that I could easily flip it because I did get a good price on it. I paid more than 16, paid less than 18. That right there is roughly what I paid for my heart.
Well, hey, I got to give you credit, viewers. I got to give Mr. Fluke credit, because I was eyeballing it, and like I tell everybody, I'm one of the buyers of last resort, where if the seller's getting a little tired and fatigued and looking around and there's nobody left, that little vulture all the way up top, like circling around, that's this guy right here. And he went from like, what was it? From 35 to 32 to 28.
The bundle was 27 on Facebook when I bought it.
That was a listed price.
If you guys can go look it up, it was a heart with a lot of alpha foils, but none of the heavy hitter ones.
Yeah,
no E-strike.
And like three common cold foils.
And 3 common cold foils.
Yep.
But realistically, you were buying the heart and getting the rest. That's how everyone was looking at that sale, because none of the heavy hitters were in there. No legendaries, no E-strikes. not even normal Easter eggs. Like, he had clearly sold the big ticket items already, because there were gaps in his photos, and then he had the heart left because not as many people can afford a heart as like the foil Easter egg.
Yep.
Out of the set. Great guy, great transaction. He's a huge collector. I think he also he posted a photo with like 10 Black Label Beckett cards the other day on his personal Facebook. The guy I bought, like Dragon Ball and Pokemon. Like, he's got some grails.
Dragon Ball and Pokemon Black Labels.
No.
Those are rookie numbers, bro.
like Black Label anything is a huge multiplier. There's still not many, even in Dragon Ball and Pokemon. Like, they're easier to get. There
are hundreds. There are hundreds in Pokemon, if not thousands, man. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to.
But there's millions of 9.5s, probably.
Agreed.
That's what I'm saying. Like, as a numbers game, they're grails. Not that they're grails for like worth. Anyway, they're very rare.
Of course, no, they're very valuable.
You're likely not to hold many quad 10s in your life. I listen. I'm very jealous of yours.
I mean, it's literally. I'm just organizing, and they're there. So, and that's from 19. Those are quad 10s from 1994. So, anyways, I'm not trying to flex. I'm just saying there's a different scale of a Black Label.
What I'm saying is, from what I can see, like, he's someone who is a big investor collector.
Of course.
Clearly selling out of FaB, and my point that I was making was, I'm not selling the heart to make a profit.
Yep.
I'm selling the heart for me to prove a point.
To create a data point for the community. Is that right?
I don't believe eBay for FaB is a data point. Well, for me, that's the truth. I'm selfish. I want to know the data point.
Okay.
I would like to know, because I have the bankroll to buy another heart.
Of course.
I have one on offer that's raw for probably half of what I bought this one for. Probably wouldn't grade a 9.5. But what I'm saying is, I would also like to open my own heart first. That's your dream as well.
Come on.
To open one.
Yeah. Chris Sires and Unseals. He's leading both of us. I think he's at 2, right? 2? He's at 2. That's impressive.
What I'm saying is, yes, it's for the community. Everybody, like, it's a public auction page, Deckbox, Flesh and Blood auctions. It's an Australian LGS. They're running ProQuest. They run events.
Yep.
They're not nobody. They own one of the larger MTG stores in Australia called MTG Card Sales. So my point was, because I know them physically, and they're going to physically be at the Nationals with a booth.
Yep.
We're going to have the heart there. People are going to be able to come and bid at the booth, and everyone online.
I agree with you, but if I may, and I'm not saying this just to give myself additional work, but that Heart of Fyendal is a 9.5 graded card, right? Yeah. And Deckbox, that site probably only has like 400 people on it right now, or 500 people on it. Yeah. And I'm a fan of you. I'm a fan of Sire's. I watched your guys' interview, and Sire's was kind of like being a little confrontational, and just being Sire's. We're very good friends, so he's like...
It was nice on camera, but
okay.
We're friends. He's like, that's a dumb idea. But go on.
Hey, bro. He's like, hey, bro, that sucks. And I'm not that type of guy. You want to do what you want to do, and you want to keep it local with friends and family and people that you know. I want to add value for you. I'm just saying, I think Flesh and Blood graded is at 2,200 people. Don't not do the thing, but I welcome you to live post.
Well, let me explain to you. I am chess moves ahead.
Okay.
Not of you because I'm smarter. I'm chess moves ahead because this is my game.
It's your game.
I'll tell you why it's on the Deckbox group.
Okay.
I have a lot of cards, and I'm going to sell a lot of them in the next 10 years, and I am creating a relationship locally.
Okay.
First of all, I'm not getting paid for it, but it's a local store that I play in.
Okay.
So why not help them?
Okay.
Because it will help me, because if they suddenly have 1,000 members after the auction, great, because if I want to sell cold foil savers on there, I can also say, hey guys, can I do an auction this week? And I'll put some stuff up.
Absolutely.
They're running this for me. First, because it is a third party. Like, just because we're friends, they're a business. You can sue them. They're a business. They're not a person, first of all.
Yeah.
Second, here's where I disagree with Sires. it doesn't matter. You don't have 2.2 thousand active members. You have 2.2 thousand likes on the Facebook page. Same as Unseals has 2.2K. I thought about using Unseals. I thought about using FaB fan page and contacting Mad. But
Okay.
the only people that are relevant to this hard auction are people that are on Facebook checking messages at least once a week, and those people are going to know about the auction.
Okay.
So I'm going to post it in the fan page. I'm going to post it in all of the groups that I'm allowed to post it in, linking to the auction. And by the way, the day it's happening, I will not have to, because a lot of other people will be like, guys, there's a 9.5 heart. The highest bid is $2,000 right now. Friends will tell friends.
Okay, sure.
But this is what I'm trying to show as well. If I took every measure to maximize the profit on the heart, you would argue the point that just because it sold for more is because I sold it to everybody and it was on a big page with big whales on it, right? I'm letting the market be the market more than eBay is, because literally it's in a group that had 240 members. I mentioned the heart in 2 videos, like to sell the heart auction. It's gone up by double, and I'm
400 plus.
now, the day before the auction, there might already be 1,000 people looking at it. Because
okay.
Guess what?
Hey, Fluke, listen to me. This is your game. This is your game.
Correct.
I happen to run the largest and only, and I admin the graded the graded Flesh and Blood group, and I'm saying myself, James Badger, AAA. We want you to live post and say this is what it is. If you want to do a mirror or something, you know what I'm saying, and say it's at this money.
What I'm planning to do is probably run my channel live on YouTube from the auction at the place. So I'll be showing myself playing games if I make it through Nationals game, and I'll be logging into my YouTube live going, guys, it's day 2, we're at 4,000, whatever. Like I'll be, yes. If I work it out, I'll also be able to just beam that live stream to your Facebook group as well. Like, you can do that. You can stream. But yeah, there's also locally to me, there's bigger groups. Hurricane Collective, which is Matt D, which is a very relevant person in the greater group, is
Matt McKay. Yeah, of course. Matt and I are buddies. We've had calls before.
That's my point. Yeah. His group locally is much, much stronger from a wallet perspective. Like, there's people selling $9,000 Pokemon cards daily. Like, as in, from a wallet and collector perspective, I could have said, hey, can you help me? And he would be very willing. But I'm not. I'm saying, I'm selling the heart, and it's selling over there. Part of it is, if enough people flock over there, that will show you that the market's not dead as well. If nobody flocks, and then you want to tell me the market's dead, I'll be like, yeah, no one even came to watch it. But you and I know, Saint, it's starting at no reserve. People are going to watch it. Whether they're watching it third party, whether they're watching it on their friend's phone, whether they're checking it on their sister's account, I don't care. You and I both know people are very interested to know what happens. That's all I'm doing. It's entertainment. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. The money is secondary.
Okay.
And I told this to Chris. It's free. It's not free, but it's marketing for my channel. It's marketing for the game. At the end of the day, if this sells for an astronomical amount, press might be written about it. If it sells for nothing, negative press will be written about it. In our community, content creators will be like, did you see that heart?
Did you see that heart? Yeah, people running their mouths. Yep.
That a heart is worth $9,000, and that's cool. Like, I know the risk. I already bought the heart, and before I bought it, I was already going to sell it. Like, my emotional attachment to it is nothing because it's not mine. Like, I already planned to find it a new home. And I'm like, Jeffrey, the guy I bought the heart from, I don't know, here's what I think. I think people don't put it on eBay because of fear, and I'm not a fearful person. So I think people don't auction things because they're afraid it sells low. I don't have that DNA.
Well, I was just telling you that eBay does sell low because of their safeguards. Once the card goes above $10,000, like what happened with the Heart lot and the I lot, and what happened with Matchfire auctions, what happened a couple days ago, they rejected my $18,000 offer, and I buy these cards all the time.
I think the manipulation I'm trying to achieve here, not manipulating the market, but manipulating people, is exactly what I told you when I told you about the heart. Saying, can you afford for your hearts to now be considered worth $5,000. And most people would go, I'm not worried about what your heart sells for, but dude, if it's $5,000, I'll bid because that's too low. But there are people that have a high enough stake that to them, they would rather spend $30,000 on my heart than let it go for 20 because they have 10 of them. And if you do the maths real quick, if it's a public data point, it might help them sell their hearts, and that's part of the manipulation. One of those people is George. The idea came from when I saw George from Compete list his whole, or not the whole collection, but he had like a lot of hearts for sale. I'm like, I told George, I'm like, dude, wait for my auction before you do that, because maybe my heart, like, because I don't think he was asking for 30, 40,000 for them anymore. I was like, George, why don't you wait? Because that's part of it. If he has 10 hearts, he's got 8 or something for sale. He would be insane not to bid on my heart if it's going for under 10, right? It's insanity for him because he's got a stake. It's same as like people buying the dip in crypto. Like it helps you to buy the dip because you're helping like save your own losses.
Well, that's great logic from an investor standpoint, and I hope we can talk about that later. I'm having my own woes in crypto. That's why it's actually like 6:30 a.m. in New York, and I'm just having so many headaches right now. Like, let's not talk about crypto right now. You mentioned a lot of stuff, man. The first thing was, again, that data point. I just want to add a fourth one. You never let me finish about the eBay bad safeguards. I don't know if you remember this, but around July of 2021, there was a Fyendal Spring Tunic gold foil extended art.
I do remember.
Yes.
I do remember.
And I got cock-blocked again by eBay, and that was the third time in a row. So the first time when my like $40,000 to $50,000 bid on the I lot, the 9.5 I and like quad brace or quad Arknight grasp and the rest, I bid about 50,000, and the winner's like the same guy that's bitching about, oh, I bid 60,000 on the Heart lot. He was in the graded group. He was actually like, well, I don't know. Maybe there's just not a lot of interest in FaB right now because nobody had more than $28,000 to bid on the I and whatnot. And I was like, I'm not one to run my mouth, man. I've had the images. I had the sniper on, and I got mad. I called eBay. I'm like, how did you let me win the first lot for the Heart, but you didn't let me even bid for the I? Because the guy listed those two auctions to end about 5 seconds away from each other. So I called up eBay and I was like, guys, you guys are preventing me from giving you my money. Like, I want to give you my money, and I've been giving you my money as an eBay customer for 5+ years. So they apologized, Mr. Hung, this will never happen again, blah, 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 blah. We've turned off the safeguards. Then it happened again on this second thing where this was a tunic. The tunic, same thing. I bid, well, I own it now. So I bid like $22,000 for the tunic because this was July. I just bought Matt Rogers' tunic, the one he won in the calling in New Zealand, right? That was a big win by Matt Rogers. He took it down, and there was a lot of people, and we're friends, Matt and I. And I was like, you know what, Matt, I've purchased every one of your other cold foils. You're one of my cold foil champions, because it was him, Jacob Pearson, Rob Seigel. Still recruiting, by the way. If they're cold foil champions that, want to go on the FaBled Hunters roster, we're still recruiting. We still got space. But that said, I took that first tunic for about 40,000. So I was like, I'll buy another one for 20, 25 and see what happens, because it was low. That tunic, like the gold foil extended art tunic, popped like 46 or something. It ended at 13,000. And it's not that, like, I was not the only one that got blocked from bidding. There were 2 or 3 other parties that were complaining because eBay had the safeguards. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Why is the same thing that happened with that very prominent I lot happening again with the tunic? I actually, I just don't like losing. And I saw that the seller lived in New York, and I live in New York. We both happen to be in New York City. And I did some tracking and looked up his name. It kind of had his first and last name within the account name. And I called and I got screenshots and I got the transcript. I got eBay literally apologizing. We are so sorry, Mr. Hung. The safeguards, blah, 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 blah. Because I was mad. I was like, yo, last time you apologized, you told me I was off. They're like, oh, well, the safeguards are on the whatever, the circuit breakers, hit. And you were the unfortunate 1 in 1,000 case of this 5-figure 20,000 bid not happening. And I was just like, hey, guy, you're in New York. I'm in New York. Here's a screenshot of my bid. I was willing to pay you money. Hey, unlist that card or tell, and here's the email.
That's what happened. I saw it disappear.
Explain to the, I'd have to go for a minute to grab the card, but people have seen it before. I'm saying people know I have it. People know I, got a bunch of these slabs. But I was like, bro, let's split the difference between 13 and like 22,000, and yeah, and here you go. And
I know I'm interrupting again.
Yeah, go ahead.
We are connected in the funniest fucking way. Saying we got COVID the same day, right? Do you know what you did to me? Now that you told me the story, I was negotiating for 2 extended art gold foil tunics because there's only 2 in Australia. Me and the seller, who I know well, were watching the auction to decide on the value, and then it got delisted.
Well, the $13,000 price point, it got canceled.
It got delisted before we got a chance to go check that it was nighttime or whatever. We went to check it the next day, and it disappeared. So I don't own a gold foil tunic because it got delisted.
Well, I'm sorry, but
how funny is that? How your eBay's
mistake. It's like the butterfly effect, right?
But because the eBay listing disappeared, he wanted he wanted the equivalent of 28,000 US for each, right? And I told him I'm willing to pay it if he can prove that it's a data point anywhere, and we couldn't.
Okay.
And we saw the auction and we're like, dude, when the auction ends, you and I are gonna have a chat. And then it ended. The last that we both saw, it was 8,500, but then the person disappeared the next time we checked. So I was like, dude, if the last one was 85 and someone pulled it, I'm terrified of even offering you money right now. I'm going to leave it. And I've left it. He still has them. This is interesting because this will restart the conversation.
It's a small world, man. Well, you've got 2 data points. I don't need to lie to you. I paid 40 for the first one in June.
You want these 2. Now it's a 3-way conversation anyway, is you might be interested because he's trying to sell 1 and keep 1 because he won 1 and then the other one he bought off his friend who won 1. So he's got 1 that he doesn't feel attached to, is willing to part with. It's good. Anyway, very interesting for other people to listen in. What that was happening in your world was affecting my world. We're in the same ecosystem.
Yeah.
eBay's pricing, let's be clear where this conversation leads. eBay pricing is not a fucking data point. Can you tell by this conversation?
Yes.
Saints willing to bid double and can't for something. I'm willing to bid 5 figures on things that it rejects.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, large sales 7 oceans away don't happen because
eBay
lifted the pull because eBay screwed it and Saint had to go and do his own thing. And see, this is the thing. The only people that know the values of these cards are the people buying and selling.
Or the people that can afford them and actually we're transacting them, right?
And unfortunately, some people have been caught in my crosshairs that are pissing me off lately. When you're talking about that side of the market and you are not in that side of the market, please stay out of it. It's very destructive.
Yes.
The new collectors come in and go, there's an Iva Fiddy of 4,500. Everybody with the brain is going, dude, if you can't buy a box for less than 2,000, how is the 1 in 40 boxes FaBled the price of 2 boxes? How is an unlimited heart the price of 5 boxes, but a first edition heart is the price of 2.8 boxes? Please riddle me that.
Well, I gave you the answer. I even answered it today on the forums on Facebook, right? Yes. I was like, that's because there's some people that don't act within their own rationality, don't act within their own interests, and they're going to be the weak hands that need to liquidate for whatever reason. right? If somebody really, really needs $5,000 immediately, the first thing they should sell is not their eye. They should probably find other things to sell, other liquid cards.
The high end of the market is not liquid. That's
Yes.
the first point.
Absolutely, yes.
When I own a heart, I've turned my liquid into something very difficult to sell. And it's not worth doing unless I can afford to keep it for 5+ years. That's how I look at it before I buy it.
I look at it 20 years, but yes.
Yeah,
yes.
but if I can't afford to hold it for at least, let's say, like minimum should be 12-month period.
Okay.
3 product releases and some natural growth and attrition for the product. Like, it's like when you buy a house and you pay taxes. You can never buy a house and then immediately within a year sell it and buy another one. You lose so much money in taxes in Australia anyway that you will go bankrupt at doing that a few times. But if you wait long enough, inflation and the real estate market will cover your taxes and then you can make money. But you can't flip a house in a year. When you're talking about a FaBled or you're talking about an Alpha Black Lotus or whatever, you cannot flip it. It's
of course.
Not a flippable product.
Yes.
It's not a liquid product.
Yeah. And
sealed a little bit more so liquid, right? Sealed seems to flow. And I think that's why your friend Rudy is such a believer in sealed product investment. Is sealed you can put on eBay and sell, and everyone's sealed product is considered the same as others. It's less so about the edges and the corners than it is about they're all identical.
You're absolutely right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's what I'm not interested in. I don't collect sealed. I buy sealed. How do I explain it? You like your 1942, is that what the drink is called?
Don Julio, yeah, the tequila. Yep.
I don't drink. If I was a whiskey collector, I would be buying to drink. But there's whiskey collectors that buy to store. There are car collectors that buy to store, and there are car collectors that buy to drive.
Yes.
I'm a collector that buys to consume.
Me too.
The market loves the shit out of me because I do everybody a favor. Every time I crack an alpha box, the attrition rate on my channel makes everybody that owns alpha happy because they're like, you know that case I have in my basement? There's one less.
Yeah.
There's one less. Right? I can't make money doing what I'm doing. Hopefully the content one day. But my point is these are not products that are liquid. If you want liquid, buy sealed, sit on sealed.
Well, I would disagree with you, Fluke. You can make money if you wait long enough on the contents within the box, right?
Sorry,
You're not optimizing your money, though.
I'm still referring to flipping.
Oh, okay. You're still... Yeah.
If I open a box that does not contain a FaBled or Legendary, which is 95% of boxes don't contain a FaBled or a Legendary, it will take me a decade or 2 to get my money. If I keep the cards.
If you keep the cards.
Maybe less.
Maybe less. With grading, with good grading, and a little bit of skill, much less. Or you could always, tap a friend on the shoulder,
As another example, I'm buying vintage whiskey to drink it. The value to me is not in the bottle appreciating. It's that I can have a friend over. Because you've seen me open boxes with friends. You can have a friend over and crack open alpha, which most will never crack open an alpha in their life.
You're not wrong.
And they get to experience it.
You're not wrong. Early on, the first holidays and New Year's and winter that I had that palette of WTR and ARC, I had buddies over every 2-3 days, especially after the first episode of this channel, FaBled Hunters, and we would crack a whole case, not on camera. We would kill a bottle. We would be just lit, completely wasted, and pull some really good stuff. We didn't pull any eyes. We pulled a bunch of skull caps. We pulled a bunch of tunics, and we pulled other legendaries.
Tunics are the iconic FaB card. I have a feeling maybe that is the Alpha Black Lotus of Alpha. There's a part of me that thinks the tunic, even though there's more of, is more iconic because nearly every deck has the argument to have one. Card your eyes as a player see way more often than you will ever see a heart or an eye or a library plate. There's something there in the tunic, the art. It's pretty. The art is phenomenal. Let's just keep it at that. The heart is a beautiful. The minute you see a heart, you pulled something big. It's like a green rough diamond looking thing.
It's something special. It's a gem.
But the art in the tunic is fab. Do you get where I'm coming from? When you think of fab art, to me, tunic is art, is the fab art. Like the first art piece I think of is the tunic. That's the iconic art. The most recognizable art.
The most recognizable, but okay. I don't want to insult the creation team or the design team, but first off, I don't think the cold foil tunic does the art justice. And I'm not trying to rub it in. If you have the extended art tunic, that art where you could see the dancer's full body.
I own one, but I own a rainbow foil one for the same reason. It is the most beautiful card.
That card is gorgeous. It's more rewarding to your senses. You see more of it, and you feel like you're rewarded.
I feel like that is maybe by design sense.
Okay, maybe.
I think they cropped it on purpose.
We're in agreement there?
Beautiful, but then they knew that the gold foil...
Yes.
The first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Achievement unlocked. Achievement unlocked. You won something big, bam.
Price point is a factor of 3-ish. It's still much right now. If you're a mid-sized collector, like $10,000 doesn't scare you, but you can't do it weekly. You can do it yearly.
Mm-hmm.
I would buy a cold foil tunic.
Yep.
Because that card is generic. Mm-hmm. That card, a player can play and a collector can collect. The heart only appeals to collectors as the cold foil, because you would nearly be insane to put that in a deck. Like, I know people can and have.
I think Bravo does, and I heard Dorinthia has some applications.
The cold foil $20,000 one, you'd be insane to put it in a deck, is what I'm saying. You know your gold foil tunic, you can go to an event
with it.
Play it.
Yeah.
Man, imagine having a quad 10, a PCG Black Label 10 sitting on your sideboard while you're playing. People will walk past you and stop and look.
They will stop. They'll stare at it.
My aspirations, I'll share with you. I bought a gold foil Rampart.
Mm-hmm.
The gold foil weapons are coming as part of the ProQuest stuff that they're going to do in stores. There's going to be a day and time where someone out there plays on camera with a full gold foil starting equipment. I want the Rampart because I like the idea of Oldham having it, and theoretically, Aria gold foils are cheaper than Alpha gold foils. Like, to do that with Dorinthia would be a lot more expensive.
Okay.
But because one of my buddies is a 17-year-old player who's got the potential to be a superstar in the game. He's very good. He's 17 and he's already top 80, right?
Okay.
He plays Oldham. So I'm like, dude, I'm going to start collecting these gold foils, because one day when you're at the final table of nationals, I'm going to fucking bring my case with me. And when we stream the game, you're going to have a gold foil set for Oldham.
Yeah.
And when you win, you're going to quadruple the value of my gold foils, because they're the ones that you wanted.
Okay, I could see that, but, you know, Fluke, I don't think we agree on the value of gold foils, but here's the problem. Since you're mentioning gold foils, let's just talk about gold foils for a second. I think every single member, every single holder of the gold foils thinks something different. You had mentioned something very interesting where your opinion was the gold foil tunic is roughly 3x a cold foil tunic, right?
It's more, I believe it's more. I'm saying roughly.
Roughly. We're on the same page that it's more. Like, tunics were probably $8,000 during right when Matt Rogers won it. And yes, I'm the idiot that paid $40, but I don't care. I wanted that one from Matt Rogers, and that was worth more to me. Maybe if it wasn't Matt Rogers' tunic, it was worth $32, $35, but at 8, then we're at 4x, right? 8 times 4, 32, right? And then I was like, my buddy won it, and it was the first major televised tunic, and the first major televised calling. I'm taking it down, and at that time, yeah. So and I did.
You have to get past Matt Rogers' emotions, because that man was not exactly broke. Like, he wouldn't have needed the money.
No, he did. He definitely didn't need the money. That's
what I'm saying. Like, you got to think like Matt Rogers wouldn't have parted with it for undermarket, because he has no need to, and it's the first one he won. So you
yep.
have to overpay.
And he wanted to keep it. He wanted to keep it, but we had a verbal understanding, kind of like players under contract, right? Where if you won something, then I'd get an option at it, because we did that for, I think, his armories, his skirmishes, his all of the competitive events, and I've got a whole like roster of Matt Rogers wins. Like his trophies are showing up in my in my slab case, and we had that agreement, and he's okay with it, and he honored an agreement. Now that said, let's not just talk about the tunics. Let's talk about like Skullcap, or like well, Skullcap's big because that only comes from ProQuest, and every single time I talk to a Skullcap person, like they want something silly. Like I've heard 35,000, I've heard 20,000, and not only that.
We're having the same conversation.
Yeah. So you hear the same thing, right? Yeah. And not only that, there was the 1,000 XP when Monarch just came out. Yes. There was this joker in Europe. I don't want to mention his name. I don't want to down people, but people know this guy literally proactively like solicited anybody who he thought had money in FaB. So I mean, I got hit up, and he's like, Mr. Saint, I won 1,000 XP. Give me $40,000 for my gold foil carry-on husk, because it would improve my life, and well, you wouldn't miss $40,000. And I'm like, first of all, buddy, like $40,000 is probably my first 3-year salary coming out when I made it, and I sure needed that money for 3 years to sustain myself. And you don't know me, we've never talked before. You don't just go up to somebody and ask for $40,000 that you've never talked to before, soliciting him via private message. Like, these things happen. And I was even at a table. I was at it's not secret. I mean, I hang out with a bunch of the pros when they're in the U.S. Like, I was at a table with Matt Rogers and the national champion Tariq Patel, and the folks that win the gold foils, like, all over the place, right? Because they're top 8s and whatnot. And they're like, well, I think gold foils should be worth 10 or 20x what the cold foils are worth. And I'm like, that's what you think, but the old saying is it's only worth something what somebody's willing to pay for. Like, who's willing to pay you 20x? I'll be like, you know what, because you're my buddy, I'll give you 5. And then if you don't want it, then maybe next time I come back I'll give you 4.5. And, we'll keep playing this game until one of you gentlemen at this table one day decide to sell to Saint. Because if nobody else is, and I don't want to sound arrogant, I mean, Fluke, you're a businessman. You get what I'm saying, right? Like,
that's exactly what word for word, what I told the guy with the 2 gold foils. It's actually also how I won the heart, negotiated with the guy selling the heart, and you didn't. Because that's what I do. I go, this is my offer. If you can show me a legit offer, if you can show me that I'm competing with one other person, I will change my tone. Till that moment, my offer is based on me, but my offer is very fucking real. Like, when you say yes, you will have the funds within half an hour. I'm not messing around.
We're of the same mindset. Yes, we don't talk.
Not even like, most of the time, I'm not paying PayPal goods and services. I'm sending you crypto. I'm screwed if you screw me. Like, I'm a buyer. Like, I buy. I need to talk to my wife, and I need to sell this. But no.
Yeah.
2 days.
Ping right now. It's there.
Drive to my house, and I will give you money. But that comes at a premium. You're not selling to me. You're selling to me as if I'm your best friend prices. You're selling it to me as if we both won gold foils and I want yours.
Yeah.
Like, all right, man, like the minimum I'd part for is $3,000. Give me 3. Because that's the thing. This gentleman bought that gold foil from his friend. You and I know that's a sub 5-figure transaction instantly.
Of course.
Friends in the age group that these guys are have not parted ways with house deposits.
Okay.
We speak the same language because we negotiate for a living. That's where that comes from. Everyone tries to rip you off when you have money.
Yes.
I've been broke and I've been asked for money today. I got asked for money. I get asked for money every day.
We both get asked for money every day. Yes. You're preaching to the choir.
No, I'm enormously generous. But why would I give you 50x or 10x or even 5x? Show me a reason.
Yep.
You can't show me another bid or a reason or a data point. And again, this whole conversation, if you're going to get anything out of it, people watching, there are no data points. If you really want a data point, message Saint on Facebook. He actually buys gold foils. That's what I do, right? Saint, when I don't know the price of something,
Yeah.
like, hey man, have you bought one of these recently?
Yeah.
Or do you know anyone that has? Because we are talking. Now, by the way, if you don't trust me and you don't trust Saint, that's fine. That probably means you're a smart person. Don't trust everything. We're just two guys on the internet with glasses talking. But
Okay.
don't worry about it. But go ask someone that has done it. Do not rely on your friend telling you what it's worth. And most certainly do not rely on spreadsheets on the internet and single store buy lists for this type of stuff. They're not common enough. There's not enough data points. If you collated every data point ever for the sale of a heart, I believe it's under 50. I believe the whole data point is under 50. Because a lot of people open them and kept them.
Okay, absolutely.
Like data points, there's probably 50 transactions, maybe more, but I'm saying like overall, these things haven't changed hands thousands of times yet.
Not thousands, no. I would say under 50 hearts since FaB became like a big deal. Since hearts started becoming over 4 figures, there are less than 50 exchanges. Yeah, over $1,000.
But this is why I'm doing the public one. I'm not like, the arrogant way to say it is like so all the poor people can watch it happen. But in reality, whatever you see happen with my heart is what you should do with your common cold foils. The only difference is common cold foils. No one's looking at the grade. No one's looking at who owns it. But there's some rule you need to understand that just because people are buying and selling your common cold foil for $20, that does not mean you need to sell yours for $20. Yep. I'm happy to show you how to sell them for more. And I'm happy to tell you that if you really want to do something smart, maybe it's smart to sell all your cold foils in one bundle and get yourself some sealed, because it is more liquid and seems to be more static in price. Like sealed seems to be a healthier investment. If that's all you care about is your future money, might be better. Oh, I'm just giving like my opinion.
No, you're totally entitled to your opinion, and I mean, I happen to not only be on FaBled Hunters, I also am a selected content creator by Channel Fireball to talk about collectibles and assets. And I just want to really quickly do it because my viewers have asked me to do this video. We're not going to do this video right now because it's like an hour video if I get into it. But basically, I always advocate 3 types of assets in trading card games and collectability. Solid, liquid, gas. The most solid asset and the most stable is your sealed product, right? Because boxes are solid. They're a unit of value, and nothing can, like, solid is its original form. It can become liquid, like, you can open a box and it can become raw cards, but you can't turn raw cards back into a solid. You can't turn it back, right? But now that you've got raw cards, you can, it only goes one way. Now that you've got raw cards, which is liquid, these raw cards, you know the exact value. There's more fluctuation. In my opinion, there's more fluctuation in the boxes. There's more negotiating up and down in the boxes, whereas, like, there's a peg value. There's FaB stocks, there's TCG Player, there's eBay, and there's Facebook. Like, what is it called? Like an E-Strike Unlimited. I don't buy E-Strike Unlimiteds, but let's just say it's like $50. You get what I'm saying?
That's like it's very easy to price an E-Strike.
Yeah, exactly. It's $50 and it'll move. CNCs, whatever, $90, they're gonna move. That's why they call it liquid. And gas is just like solid, liquid, gas are forms of water, right? Are forms of substances, right? Gas are the these are slabs. They're gas because they're fire, number one. Jokes aside, they also are expansionary, right? The gases expand. Like this swamp in revised Magic the Gathering 1994. This swamp is like a 20-cent card. But because it's got this on it and it's the only one in the world, then it's no longer a 20-cent card. It's between, I mean, honestly, this is a 4-figure card, and I had competition. There's a story behind how I even got that card, right? Yeah. So gas expanded. Immediately, that card, after it got recognized as being the best in the world ever in 30 years, it is no longer a 20-cent card. It went up to, I don't know, 5,000 times or something like that, right? So that's why it's gas, because it's expansionary. However, it's expansionary, but it's not liquid, right? You can't go sell every single slab. These don't move. You have to find the right buyer. And I guess I'm catching up on the topics. Like there's a lot of topics that you talk and you go, but another thing, Fluke, you mentioned like black lotuses, alpha black lotuses. I've probably transacted a dozen of them in the past 2 years, and that's just by virtue of how much volume I handle in Magic the Gathering. You want to talk about alpha black lotuses? There's not going to be many alpha black lotuses that go on eBay for the obvious reasons that I just stated, right? Yeah. There's not going to be many. And usually the optimal way of moving an asset like an alpha black lotus, especially because Magic is, a more mature, stable, sophisticated, and recognized product. I'm not saying FaB is unsophisticated, but like asset-wise, Magic it's the granddaddy, right? And that alpha black lotus is anywhere from call it 80,000 to over $1 million possibly. And those transact because the 800 people that own all of the alpha black lotuses in the world, they're like, hey, what do I need more? Is there an opportunity? Who needs it? Y'all, I've got one. I showed it 2 years ago. You know where it is, right? And then the people that are like, hey, I don't have an alpha black lotus and I just came into enough excess disposable income, I have to ask, right? Like, it's very rarely is it like, oh, here's my alpha black lotus. Please, please, please buy it. It's like somebody is looking for an alpha black lotus and I'm like, okay, what are you willing to give me for my alpha black lotus? Kind of like I made a video about it because I traded it for...
By the way, as far as I know, that happens in the Pokemon high end as well. Nobody trades first edition Charizard. Nobody sells them publicly. It's like people know who have them, and you can work your way into that club. And if you have the money, there's a video on Steve Aoki's channel where he begs the guy. Like he brought bags of cash. I don't know the story. I just was watching Steve because I know that Steve is into cards because of FaB. And then I watched like one of his highlights, and he got ripped off on some sport cards, and then he goes and buys like a PSA 10 first edition Charizard. Mm-hmm. The guy says no like 4 times because he has no reason. It's not that it's not about money. It's it's not about the money.
How do you replace that card? The money, you can always make money.
See, money is very liquid, very easy to part with and to get. Like it's streams.
Easy come, easy go. There's
The guy probably sold it to Aoki because Aoki was so freaking desperate. The emotion, the guy's like, well, it's worth it for me to bring this guy happiness. I'll take this 500,000 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't about him trying to screw it for money. And that's back to FaB and the heart. These people that have sold a heart, so the guy I bought the heart from and the recent $16,000 6-bidder eBay sale.
Which is bullshit, honestly. I'm still mad about it, honestly. I wanted that one.
Well, you, me, and 10 other people that we know collectively are like, I would have paid 20. Like, it's a 9.5.
I don't know if I would have paid 20. I would have paid 18, or I would have taken my shot at 8, or whatever it is. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is more than 16. Sorry, I said 20 as like a more than 16. Everybody I know, everybody that has hearts, can afford hearts, buys and trades them or has in the past, in the last 6 months, is like, that's stupid. I didn't even know, or because there was one other person on the collector group that couldn't. By the way, the collector group's a public group. That's not Facebook. It's not like some secret club. We literally are just talking in there. People are like, I could have bought it. But either they didn't know, so the big thing is, if you're going to sell something, you need people to know about it.
You didn't market it.
Checking eBay for this stuff. But I didn't see a single Discord post or a Facebook post.
There's a lot of people that aren't online. That's why.
He also told me there's a lot of collectors that aren't in the scene. Like, they don't play, they bought stuff and now someone decided to sell one.
Yeah.
The second thing is, it's desperation too. Like, if you want a guaranteed sale, you put it on eBay 3 days of bidding and it will sell, and eBay will make sure you get paid most of the time. Like, this is how eBay works.
Absolutely.
You don't have to talk to anyone, and there's a safeguard with PayPal in the middle, and it's great. Like let's hypothetically say the person that sold that cracked it in an alpha box that they paid $100 for, and they're like, they were waiting for it to go to 100K, and it's dipped. They're like, whatever, like, sell it, and I'm gonna buy a car, and that's that. Like, they may have not, like we're talking about it, that particular person put less thought into it possibly than we did. They're just like, I mean, I graded it. It's. I think it was one of the older ones that's graded. I checked the serial number, but the number's much lower than the number on mine. So I imagine it was graded much earlier than mine.
I think they started getting graded in the 122 era, which was, yeah, late 2019. So yeah.
It's an older one,
Yep.
which again would tell you if it didn't swap hands recently, that heart wasn't bought for 5 figures, maybe wasn't even bought at all. It might have been opened and graded.
Opened and graded, yeah.
Which affects the market. Like all of the hearts that were opened for free for $100 out of $100 boxes, their owners that haven't sold them have a very different perspective on the price of them. Because it's all profit. Like profit. Most of the ones I know, Midian Gaming, I had an interview with an LGS owner. It's not about the money. He got into Welcome to Race at the day it came out, and he has no intention of selling. Zero. He's going to die with them.
Yeah.
George from Compete said the same statement exactly. He said he's got a quad 9.5.
Yeah.
He's going to die with it. They're going to bury him with it. That's how he put it. Like, it's not for sale. He's been offered 6 figures and he said no. Like, that's a collector. That's what a collector does.
I don't know if he's been offered 6 figures for it, but I mean, a lot of...
says that. There are definitely people like that won't sell it. They have no... Like, it's not about the money, and they won't sell it. And it doesn't matter what you say or what the market says. Not all of them are for sale. And the ones that are usually are moving in the shadows. Not because they don't want people to know. It's just, it's not how you sell a non-liquid, expensive asset, because you need the right collector to look at it.
I just said it with the Alpha Black Lotus, right? Those were my exact same words with the Alpha Black Lotus.
Not liquid
Yeah.
enough to sell on eBay. You need. I'll tell you why. It's easy, right? We talked about crypto briefly. If you need to sell some crypto to buy the heart, you can't do it in 3 days. And right now, if you have crypto and you want to buy a heart, you're probably crossing your fingers and hoping for a little bit of an uptick before you do it.
Yeah.
Because if you're in crypto, you're probably 30% down right now. It's a terrible time to transfer one asset to another if it's crypto to a heart. Like, it's not the time to do it. Like, if you ask me, like, let's say Saint was going to be willing to sell me a gold foil tunic, right? I'd be like, Saint, I'm in, 100%. We agree, 30,000, I'm going to buy it. Saint, let's just watch Ethereum for the week till it goes up a little bit so I can cash some out. Like, that's literally the conversation I have with Saint. I'd be like, we're done. I'll even send you a deposit, but let's wait before I cash out some crypto. Because why would I cash my crypto at a 30% dip instead of waiting maybe a month and it goes back up? And then, like, technically, the gold foil would cost me 30% less, but Saint would get the same amount of money. It's silly for us to transact it in this moment.
Of course.
Does it make sense?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
eBay forces it, while most transactions like this are not forced.
Can I give you a little crypto story? I've purchased crypto-related funds in my personal portfolio, just like, not actual crypto, because I've got tax reasons not to, because it's kind of bad, especially in New York. I didn't even know how bad it was in New York until this past week. And that's why I'm like out pulling my hair at like 6 a.m. and then we're talking. This last week, I tried to go on this platform called crypto.com for my business, because I'm in financial technology where, we make software, we transfer funds digitally back and forth. And just for R&D purposes, my main company, which is in fintech, wants to diversify and, create a crypto account on crypto.com. And here we are, we have a board meeting, I have to call counsel, and we got to get everything done, and how are you going to safeguard it? How are you going to protect yourself? What about tax liability? And just all this, multi-level corporate BS that we have to get clearances on. And we're like, fine, we got our budget, we got our legal clearances, we got our, operation path, like our little business plan or something, execution path. And then we go on, and crypto.com's like, there's like a big question mark, which looks to me like a big blue middle finger, like, you can't use crypto.com. And we're like, what's going on? You know what? Maybe the site's down. My CFO tried it. Saint, why don't you try it late at night? Which was like last night. And I did. I was like, I got that same big, like, exclamation point or question mark, like, it's not working. Whatever's not working. And then we're like, what the hell? I asked some people, like, what the hell's going on? Do you guys know crypto people on Telegram? And then, like somebody directed me to like a little page, and it literally said crypto.com is allowed in 49 out of 50 states in the United States. And there's a list of every single state in the United States. And I'm like, New Jersey.
Can I guess?
Where? Yeah.
Is the one New York?
It's New York, yes. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? I just, like, I run a not small company, and I went through days of execution to let other shareholders of my company know, and, you know, my management know, and my attorneys know what was going on. And here we are, like, we're pushing the button, we're applying for the account, everything's done, and then the account's saying, you know, big middle finger, go away. And I'm like, what? And within these past 24 hours, we had to talk about plan B, C, D, E, because the budget's already made. We got to talk about a proxy. We got to, you know, securitize the proxy. It's. I don't want to get into it. I'm just saying it's so frustrating. It's a new business, and oh my God, I go through all this stuff.